Welcome back, everyone. We've had some technical difficulties, but we're here. We're back. We're live. And oh hell no, we can't even hear. We can't hear you.
There we go.
There we go.
All right.
We're back. Guess I'll give the intro that I gave earlier.
It's like going back in time.
Huh?
It's like going back in time, dude. So we get life all over again.
Back in time. So welcome back to the podcast. You know, we got all three of us here in the Edo, been popping in and out over there in the top right corner. Been taking a little R&R, been dealing with the kid, you know, some life shit, but we're back. I just want to say welcome back to Legacy of Arts. So you guys have a good one. Welcome for tuning in. And today we're talking about friends, enemies, snakes, and all above.
I feel like I'm...
Y'all want to hear something crazy?
What's up?
All right. Now listen. And it's kind of cool, but it's all right. Engineers design tiny batteries for powering cell-sized robots. Okay. And so they're talking that they have these batteries for these microbots that can go even into the body, and they can use it in the medical field. And these batteries are like the size of a hair, like the thickness of a piece of hair. And then it has to be powered. Generally they can do powering through like solar stuff, but in the body, clearly there is no like any type of exposure. And so they're making these batteries that was done by the US Army. And they have like MIT and everybody working with it, but they're going to use it also in like the medical field. So what's kind of cool about it is it's like if you have like an injury or whatever, they'll send a microbot inside your body, and then it will like then give the medicine to that part. Like, so I guess it's going to be a lot faster, you know. But if they're doing shit like this, can you imagine what they're doing? That's a small ass battery, dude. And it gives it just that life just to be living through the body. That shit's crazy.
What do we expect? I mean, 100 years ago or however long ago, the wheel was invented out of rock, you know, and now look, it's tire, or it's rubber, aluminum, shit like that, whatever the whole wheel is, shit's going to evolve. I mean,
yeah, I know.
Crazy. I think it'll be crazy to our generation. I think we've hit this a little bit before, but I think to our generation and generations older than us, it's kind of fucking weird because we're used to like going to the doctor, getting a flu shot,
right?
Get a prescription, like shit like that. Now they're like, oh, come here. We'll inject you with this, and you're good. Like by the time you walk out the door, you're good. I think it's just the evolution of technology that we're not used to
sure.
that makes us weary of it. But then again, like, ooh, I almost said fuck shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like shit back then, like some people probably weren't okay with like
A penicillin shot.
like a penicillin shot. Yeah, it's a great one. Penicillin shot and like shit like that. But that younger generation was probably maybe like that little young generation of scientists, doctors, probably like, you don't need that.
Now that you brought that up, as far as generations, like, what is the gap? How can we actually morph into people being on the same mindset? Because I know it's not going to happen. Like,
Never, and that's what feuds, enemies, and friendships and relationships.
But like, how can you? How do you actually? I wouldn't say persuade, but get the older generation and the younger generation on the same mindset. Because it seems like there's a big catapult of, oh, I've done it this way so many times, and I
if
know
it works,
this
why
works.
fix it? Type shit.
Kind of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm almost in the same mindset though. Like if it works, why fix it? But I'm also a person who understands things change and things evolve from one to like bread didn't always come in a plastic fucking bag with the little white fat dude called Bimbo on it. Like
Right.
you were making that shit on a fire in a cave or something.
That's
like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think it's the comfortability of people and the mindset of acceptance to some people as to how do we not get on board, but comprehend and understand.
You just answered it.
Shit.
Comfortability.
Write it down. Comfortability. I wouldn't even call it comfortability. I call it comprehension.
Because
And I've spoken about comprehension a couple times before, but if you can't comprehend something and maybe understand like why this is better than, let's say, the 1 milliliter of fucking flu shot, whatever's in it, like if you can't understand like, hey, this is better, this is safer or more efficient or effective,
yeah.
are you really going to be accepting to change as a whole? Like, you know what I mean? Like it brings out a whole nother topic of shit. But you can't accept little things like there's a camera that little. Are you really going to be able to accept bigger things? And again, it plays into like what we've talked about before, like where you're from, how you're raised, mindsets, like shit like that. But I think the acceptance of change is like something so small that people can't grasp.
Yeah.
That if you just kind of latch on a little bit and maybe understand, you don't have to agree, of course, when it comes to something new.
Right.
But if you can understand, you have a better like mindset, perceptive of things or how it's better, maybe worse. You're able to give better input, shit like that, you know?
Yeah. I think that's like the first stage. Like when it comes to change, it's like the first stage is like, all right, you tell the person or you tell like a civilization, like, okay, these are the new innovations. What do you think? Either they grasp it or they don't. That's just the first stage. The second
and it also doesn't mean it's right or wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's gonna change no matter what. You know what I mean? Like life is gonna advance regardless. Like we tried to warn you, either you on board or you're not, but you better get used to it. Just like driving cars. Dude, I seen a video of a Jaguar. I think it was in San Francisco, and a motherfucker got an Uber and there was nobody driving it. And he got in and they said they went to a stoplight and the motherfucker was inching like a normal person would. Like you anticipate the light, so you inch closer. It was doing that shit. And so it's like, can you imagine like telling someone who was born in like even in the 70s, like, oh, you know, there's gonna be driving cars. How do you feel about that? No, that's not safe. You don't trust the computer or whatever. And it's like now it's a reality. Just because you didn't like it or you don't trust it, it's now a reality. So like, yeah, that's crazy.
That's like AI and shit. I low key would love to talk about that in a little bit. Like that brings on a giant level of like what we're about to talk about, trust and
So and that I think that ties into it as well. How with us not trusting, because me personally, I don't trust AI. Like,
I'm not getting an Uber. They got no driver. Are you kidding me?
I'm
Fuck
not
no.
no.
It's like it's $5 cheaper. Though. Would you take it?
Nope.
we go knock $50 off.
Ooh, I'm getting it.
In a sense, like that's the same role we play with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like how we're in a different mindset, and that's why I brought it up from the younger mindset. The older they is not about to fucking drive no goddamn car. They're in
No.
AI.
No.
But this generation, they would allow it.
So
They've been receptive
Yeah.
to it.
would
They
that
know
play
about
into
it.
being judgmental and
It is. And
judginess and shit like
exactly.
that?
That's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. And it falls, and that's why I always ask, like, where can we meet in the middle type deal? And like you said, and both of you guys said, like, there won't ever be
Yeah.
a meet in the middle because, like you said before, I know what works. I'm gonna do what
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of like, well, I'm gonna see if it works. I'm gonna find a better way. I'm gonna see how it works.
Yeah.
Better to fix flaws and stay the same way, because like, I'm kind of with the same way. I'm not opposed to seeing how something new works, but once flaws start picking up, now I'm automatically thinking I was like, I can make that better. I can.
Yeah.
This can be better than it is now. How can we do it? And like sometimes, like it'd be like the Walmart checkout. Like I can't sit there and like email the fucking Walmart, like the CEO of Walmart to fix it.
Yeah.
But it's almost you're not the only one having an idea at the end of the day.
Right.
And you're not the only one alone having the same idea. So
Mhm.
someone is saying something, but I do agree with what you're saying, though.
Because, like you said, both of you evolve and change.
Yeah.
But tying that into, your friend is your foe or your foe is your friend type deal, it's the same thing.
So how can we apply that same mindset to friends and enemies?
You can see it as, okay, just the analogy we just made,
Mhm.
right? We know who we are around, right? We're with them daily. We make sure everything happens that needs to happen. But you don't see the enemies and what they're planning and what they're doing. That friend can be taking your kindness for weakness, but
Mhm.
that enemy can be seeing you as a strong, bold, individual person and actually admires you.
You think it's the emotions we give to certain people?
It
Because
is.
the enemy is more than likely going to see that. The anger, the reprise, like a reprise, well, how big words not my thing. The
Reprisal.
anger, yeah, reprise, like things like that. Well, a friend is going to see happiness, sadness. Like, is your enemy really, really seeing stuff like that? He said,
Hmm.
pull that. But like, fuck, not losing my train of thought. But is it really based off emotion and what you give to certain people? Because me personally, like I would never show my enemies my like my soft side or my vulnerability. Like it would always be the stone wall. But then my friends, it's almost like you kind of stop it at that stone wall and give them everything in between.
Hmm. Yeah. Would you see like would a foe look at you more as like someone who is like your equal, you're a threat? So if someone is a threat to you, that means they're relatively going to be somewhat equal to you because you're not really going to look at someone who's beneath you as really a threat, right? So maybe they
Correct.
have a little bit more respect for you because they may feel like you're somewhat on their level versus like a friend.
Mhm.
They may love you in a certain way, but they may not have also respect for you. So like if they're more like jealous of you, it's easy for them to maneuver through you. Whereas like, and they try to manipulate you because they use that your trust, to their
That
advantage.
vulnerability that you're giving them, yeah.
Yeah. Or they have just this. It's the worst thing knowing that someone who's in your team is like kind of working in the shadows against you, whether that's making you look bad, And so, like, I know in the book that we were discussing, um, the 48 Laws of Power, it goes into like, I guess, the book's perspective of that, and it's law two, and it's judgment. It says, beware your friends, they will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They also become spoiled and tyrannical, but hire a former enemy, and he will be more loyal than a friend. because he has more to prove. In fact, you may you may fear your friends more than your enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. And so, like, in that just phrase right there, which is like the beginning of the law too, to me, that's like kind of like depressing personally, because it's like you never know who's around you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's always like you have to be on guard majority of the time. And to me, that's kind of just a wild way to live. But I would still argue that would an enemy still have more respect for you than a friend? You know what I mean?
Maybe mutual respect. Because
yeah,
again,
exactly.
end goal is the same between enemy and enemy.
yeah.
You guys are enemies for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
End goal is more than likely, to me at least, going to be the same. If you guys are beefing or like you guys are enemies, friends, end goals are probably never going to be the same unless you're a group with a group vision. Because like, let's say all four of us we just randomly did this shit. You know, like he could be wanting to get a bag to go get whatever the fuck he needs, but I could be envious of that because of what I have going on, and I think it's just like an understanding thing again, and just kind of how you perceive things based off how you feel.
Yeah.
But again, that common interest is almost what either builds you or breaks you between friends and enemies, in my opinion.
So that's based off emotion.
Everything's based off emotion.
Yeah.
In this situation, friends and enemies, it's all based off of emotion, feeling. Like I could feel disrespected, but not everyone's normal reaction to being disrespected is the same. So it could be perceived differently versus how I react versus he reacts to it. Because I don't like disrespect. I know he doesn't. I'm sure you don't. And if we all know Nieto, that motherfucker don't like we all. No one likes.
He's crazy as hell. Just he crazy. Dude,
exactly.
he is off the hinges. They don't know him like we know him.
All right,
you know?
Exactly. So
we got in the chat right now from Nieto. He couldn't be with us right now just due to him doing his thing. He said the world was perfect in the beginning, but man has ruined it, and now needs to reverse it and contain it.
I don't think man ruined it. I think we all fucking ruined it. Societal norms, judgment, of course, just everyone either being friend or foe, and like not liking someone. Let's say Microsoft don't fucking like Apple, probably, right? Just because it's different. But at the end of the day, they have the same end goal. And I do think that we all ruined it. But if we ruined it, do we really ruin it? Or is it just us evolving and old mindsets being brought up to where they're like, oh, this worked back then, so it's gonna work now.
So reverting back to that, as far as friend foe type deal, in today's era, I'm not going to say society, I'm going to say era. How does that play a big part of how things are either negotiated, how things are, executed, and how is it? What part does it play in, like you said, society norms, when knowing your friend might be your foe, but your foe may be your friend? How does that play a part?
I guess that's like based off experience. Wouldn't you say? Like, I feel like you would almost have to experience it to be aware of it, because if you had like you trust all your friends, never had an issue with it, this conversation may be kind of like strange to them, versus someone who's like, man, I've been through this shit a lot of times where like I've been stabbed in the back, whether that's like trying to get a better job or promotion, and they go, you know what, so and so, like he or she, they're not the best worker like you think. They've been doing this, and this, like some way of hindering them. Like those people would understand, but it's like they almost have to experience that to be like, oh, should I be concerned? And then like, how do I like figure out like who is who? And this happened to me now. Like I just met this person, but what if this person really has bad intentions for me? It does it's like a mind fuck. You know what I mean? It's like
It's a gamble. Like we said, like you almost have to gamble. Not everything, but like certain parts of you have to gamble to give to someone in hopes that you can get it in return. And if you don't,
yeah,
are they your friends still?
right.
You know what I mean? Like we said it again. Every relationship is a gamble, and I will continue to say that honestly till the day I die. Every relationship is a gamble, but it's almost like, all right, what are you willing to put into that to make sure it's
Sure.
not a gamble, or vice versa? Is that same person on the recepting side willing to give what they're receiving, or is it
I didn't mean to cut
no,
you
you're
off.
good, you're good.
We got another chat response.
What's up, Moana?
Moana.
Make way,
Shut the
make
fuck
Hey,
way.
she's coming
Sorry.
up part 2, bro. She got some money, dog. They about to come out. Moana 2, dog. I'm telling you.
How
She
you
about
doing,
to make
Moana?
bank.
Appreciate you tuning in.
Not
Not everyone has good intentions on being your friend, but it's up to you to decipher if they're truly your friend or really an undercover foe.
Mhm.
So with that,
I got a piece to say when you're done.
okay.
I'm gonna name drop some motherfuckers in this.
Oh, please don't.
Bombarded.
No, don't do that. Please, please.
It's just two.
But
Moana, it's time you knew.
oh my
The
God,
Vantage
stop,
Mountain knew is
stop.
all you need.
But no, and that is true. Not everybody that has good intentions is, looking out for your best interests.
No, never.
Like, and it's kind of hard to actually see that, because you also see it in relationships.
Mhm.
One person, like, you might wake up one day, he or she act a certain way type
Mhm.
deal, and then the next day you're like, what the fuck did I do wrong type deal?
Right.
But at the
Yeah,
end of the day,
I feel like you got to almost get hurt, right? Like for you to be aware of it.
I think
it's like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like you have to experience it. And then now you're like aware of like, and it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Like it could make people never want to make friends. They say like the older you get, the least you want to have friends. It's like you have the friends in your adolescence, and those are the experience you get.
Yep.
And a lot of people get
What
hurt.
builds you up,
You
so
know,
you're ready for the real shit. In
You
my
know-
opinion, like
Yeah.
you're 0 to fucking 14 years old of life, like, or we'll give 16 because you get a car and shit, so like you feel like
Yeah.
an adult,
yeah,
and that's when shit starts to pop off. But like for summers, but whatever. It's almost that you're gonna have to go through it to feel
Right.
it, and we all been there, right? We all been
Mhm.
betrayed once. Everyone's been betrayed once in it. Maybe
that shit
not.
happened to me yesterday.
see.
I'm telling you.
I feel that. But yeah, like what Kim is saying. Like I said earlier, my guard is up 24/8. I know when to let things through it, and I say that, but I probably don't, honestly. And that's just like a self-awareness thing. But I feel like I know what I want in my life
Yeah.
based on characteristics of people, not just people themselves. Like I
Sure.
definitely value characteristics of people more.
Mhm.
So like she said, it's something you almost have to learn, or you have to find out if they're undercover.
Yeah.
Because like we all been fucked over. We all been fucked over by
Yeah.
someone we're close to once.
So now, just like how you said,
Yeah, fuck you, Anderson and Smith. Sorry. I'm gonna
He's
get
like,
you,
I watch it, motherfucker.
I'm
I'm
gonna
coming
get
after
you,
you.
Anderson. I promise you, I'm gonna fucking get you. But continue.
so with that, like you said, it's an experience.
Yeah.
And with being, I wouldn't say fucked up.
Just a betrayal of trust almost is kind of what brings friends and foes apart, is trust, in my opinion.
So
Yeah.
do you take your experience and put it to the next person that you do meet, that you do have characteristics,
I
and
used
you
to.
know, like, he's a good person, or he or she's a good person, but you just was so reserved.
Mm.
Now
Personally-
that he or she thinks that you're the foe. because you
Personally, I
won't
will
give
say
out the
that
information?
I'd like to say I don't do that anymore, but it's probably like 50%. If it's a past experience with the same person, it's gonna be the same emotion from what left us at that
Yeah.
point of thing, and it's toxic. Don't get me wrong. Like there's hella people I love to hit up and be like, hey, how you been? Like, my bad for this, my bad for that. But again, it has to do with that guard being up. Like, is it worth it? Like, is it a closer thing? Do you want to know? Do you just want to build? Like, you want to go past it?
Yeah.
Personally, me, like, it's a overthinking thing, and like we all go through it. Currently going through it is what it is.
Right. Well,
But
that's
like,
the thing. Like, I agree completely with you. Like, it depends on what you want. Either if you're ready to close off any relationship or friendship that you get, then sure, like, you have to harp on that and you have to have your guard up. But at a certain point, like, if you want something different, you have to do something like different. And Denzel Washington made that quote, which always stuck with me. He's like, if you want something in your life that you've never had before, you have to do something that you never did before. And that's huge. And that's kind of the same thing. Like, your guard is like, yeah, but you almost it's like ripping somebody apart. It's like you have to be in a certain way, but then you have to know when to open up and when to, like, all right, this one I think is okay, but yet it's still a gamble. You're still throwing
how
the
do
dice.
you guys deal with a situation like that? Because personally, like kind of going through a situation like that, guard is up way too high. She's probably gonna fucking see it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's way too high and it shouldn't be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'd almost feel like it's ruining that friendship, that relationship, that one
Yeah.
thing. How do you guys know when to decipher good, bad, down, and up between your wall and the person?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm always open to ears from different walks of life.
Sure.
Like, I don't know you. I don't know how you were raised. I mean, I watched the videos. Like, I don't know you, but your input, I'm gonna still end up valuing in the end of the day because of what we are doing. Oh shit! But how would you guys deal with, like, how do you know when to be like, all right, I can let it down for this person and almost know what's going on versus being confused and either keeping it halfway up versus where it's going to turn into friend or foe?
I think you already hit it on the head. It's going to be based on your emotion, on how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
There's no better. I'm sorry.
I've been on a hot streak the last 4 days on
But
set.
Nitto had asked,
All right.
when do you know that your friend or you're a friend or a foe? When enemies have the same intentions and goals as you, and friends are only for support. Who's really there for you? Yourself. I'm sorry, my bad. I answered you. But I think honestly, like, knowing yourself and how you can actually, I wouldn't say meditate, but how you actually come back to reality and sense yourself. It's only you, man. You were brought in this world.
The first question he asks is like, when do you know that you're a friend or foe? Personal experience.
I'm sorry.
This one I won't name drop on. I'm just not going to elaborate on that because it'll just give it away. I think collectively, when a person screws over more than one person in a branch of people or a group of people or shit like that, it's almost when you're like, that's a foe. Maybe not to you, but like overall, like, you could see a person's intentions when it comes to different people.
Sure.
Like us four, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
y'all know, I want the Hellcat. That's all I fucking want is the Hellcat.
This guy.
But my intentions are more pure when it comes to this, and I vocally will out loud be like, I can't wait for the Hellcat. So to people, it might like perceive that that's all I want. But I think it's, again, if you can take 3 people, 4 people, no context clues, like a platoon almost, and fuck every person over in that to benefit you. And like when you kind of see like someone is doing it for just them and not the benefit of all,
Yeah.
that to me, that's when I'm like, foe.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be screwing over a certain collective amount of people to benefit just you when we all have same mindset in the end of you'd hope we all have the same mindset in the end of the day. And I think when they decide to play with other people's trust and guard and wall and like judgment, all that shit, I think that's when I'm able to decide friend or foe. Because like it worked. Like I said, fuck you, Anderson. like throw shit on my name. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's been nothing but nice, but then when it comes time for you to depart or do whatever, you're trying to bring everyone down with you. It's kind of like to benefit you and make your story. It's that victim card in the end. Honestly, fuck. It's really almost how they want to play into the victim card to make it benefit them after they're seeing the victim.
Yes. Oh,
That's
yeah.
not going off anyone besides a couple people I'm talking about, but in general, like that's how I do see it.
That's
And
the
like, if you're able
fallback.
to victimize your situation to where it benefits you, you're
Yeah.
a fuck.
Yeah.
Unless there's some real shit, like unless there's some real shit, like where you're an actual victim. Yeah, I understand you. Like we all been in that situation, seen that situation. But when you can point it out that someone is doing it for just them and the benefit of them to take anyone down, yeah, foe. Like that's to me, it's very interesting.
So we got to comment down here. I feel you go to any situation with an open mind, but you need to always be on guard. In time, their true intentions will show. Basically, what you were saying. And again, I appreciate it. Thank you for every chat that's going on. I'm gonna try and actually put all of them in there for you guys, so you can be seen. But no, you are absolutely right.
Yeah. I have a story. So like when I started, actually, this is a great example. So when I started weight training, right? So I used to be a runner. Actually, the beginning I was very overweight, very insecure. So I started running,
Oh,
right?
you was a fat boy.
Yeah, dude, man. Yeah. But I was husky, motherfucker. I was husky. That's what my mother told me. All right.
Oh man.
So
Hey, we've been there. I've been there.
So yeah. So I started running, and I ran to kind of lose weight, and then I got really small. Now my build so I'm half black and half Peruvian. So I'm built like a broad guy, right? And I was really thin. I was a runner, so I started weight training. Anyway, I found the deadlift to be one of the compound lifts that I love to do. And I remember texting Maddie and calling Maddie when I hit 300-pound deadlift. But I was like, oh shit, like I'm actually like getting stronger. I met this guy and he became a friend of me. And he actually helped me with my deadlift and my form. And I really appreciate him. I looked at it, I really looked at him as a friend. And I hit 400. So now I'm like, oh shit. Like I was watching those little reels on Instagram and I seen a dude, he was doing sumo deadlift. And
yo, hold on. I gotta stop you. Moana out here shitting on you. She called you big bone, bro.
Well, that's the excuse. He ain't big, he big bone, baby. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Moana, we like it.
I'm watching your movie, girl.
How you doing, Billy?
I'm gonna give you about $20, the theater. But so like I had this thing in the back of my head, like I seen this one dude, he sumo deadlift 600 pounds. So I'm like, you know, man, one day I'm a deadlift 600 pounds. I meet this guy, he helps me with my form. I hit 400, start going to 450. I hit 500-pound deadlift. Let's fast forward. So one Saturday, I'm hitting 500 at this point. I'm trying to hit 500 every week, but I always had the anxiety of not doing it. So I always was trying to do it. So one Saturday, it was this friend of mine and all these other friends, that majority of them are women. And so like, you know, I was doing this deadlift form and this motherfucker actually was like talking shit about me to these women. Now I'm hitting 500 and he was actually below me. And I sense a bit of a jealousy thing. So then he made a comment to these women and he's like, oh, it looks like shit. I don't even know why you would do that in front of all these people. And then he's getting the laughs from them. Now I'm thinking this dude is a friend, but he's trying to make me feel like shit in front of all these people. And all I'm trying to do is just perfect my shit. Yeah. Anyway, if we fast forward, like I actually left that gym. I kept the membership, but I started going to a different gym. And I told myself like, yo, like I'm going to just change up my style because I had to think a little bit. I'm like, did he have any value to what he said? Like, did my form need to improve? So I went to this other gym and I started doing different like exercises to improve my deadlift. Anyway, fast forward even more with all the new workouts that I did, I actually started getting stronger. So it went from 500 to like 550, then
So do you
585.
Do you think his envy built animosity in you to almost look at him and just be better?
Exactly.
Think about it. He's talking shit to
Exactly.
females. Respectful word.
Yeah.
Talking shit to a group of females because he's probably trying to look better to them, right?
Right.
You
Yeah.
think
And
his
I
envy
yeah.
is what fuels kind of your animosity to almost be better than him, and that
Yeah.
doesn't make, in my opinion, that doesn't make you a foe.
Yeah.
He in that term, as he was your friend, he's the foe in that situation
Mhm.
because he's running his mouth about you, and that's
Right.
and disrespect and respect come a long way when it comes to friendships and
Right.
relationships and enemies and shit. Because most enemies don't have respect for their friends,
Yeah.
and it's the same back and forth. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
for sure.
it's almost like the moment he's seen you and he helped you. You said right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, so
and-
exactly. The teacher never likes to be out taught. So
Exactly. Oh, law one. God damn it.
But the teacher
Holy
never wants
shit.
to be out taught.
Yeah.
Shit in the book already. See?
Yeah.
You think
No,
that's
for
what
real.
fueled his like animosity towards you?
Right.
Because you were almost doing better and you were more receptive than he probably was to the training he received. Because you guys
Right.
probably were in the same shoes at one point.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because I was a new lifter coming up, and that's the great point. Was like, through that point, I had to have a realization of whatever he said, was there value to it? Like, if I would have played the victim though, and would have said like, he's just being an asshole to me, he's just jealous. Like, I probably wouldn't have never got there because I had to say, okay, maybe I do need to work on this shit. Maybe I do need to do this. And
Let
that
me ask you
actually led me to 600-pound deadlift. I actually scaled past it.
If he never was talking shit, do you think you would have made it past that certain poundage or whatever goal you had at the time that he put you on to?
Right.
Do you think you would have surpassed that if you never found out, or do you think you'd be at the same level with him, thinking y'all are equals?
Right. Oh, dude, I would have stalled out. I would have stalled out. Exactly.
Exactly.
Like, he was the key point.
I would have ran my fucking mouth if I knew I was better than you at that point. While you talking shit, I just say, come do it. Like, prove.
Right. Exactly.
It's almost a proving factor.
Exactly.
So we got another one from Moana. He truly wasn't your friend because he started that relationship having mutual benefits for both of you. But once you did better than him, his envy got the best of him. So now that plays a title in, like we always say, emotion.
Yeah.
You feel like, oh, I don't want him to surpass me, or I don't want nobody to surpass me.
Right.
So
I'm
going to bring him down to make sure I look good in the limelight.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think he's a leader. In his mind, he's probably a leader to you.
Yeah.
So again, like the teacher don't want to be out taught. The leader never wants to be out led.
Yeah.
And he almost took it as a threat. And the only way for him to combat that threat to him was to talk shit, was to grade you.
Right.
Like, you're hard. You got to think, because Jim is all about hard work.
Sure.
He downplayed your hard work.
So, but now
based off the let me say this, based off the emotion and feeling he'd receive from the outside people to the whole situation.
Yeah.
Especially those girls did not know he taught you that.
Right.
Because I personally, first of all, if I taught you something and you're doing it better than me, I'm not running my mouth to people saying I taught him that.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it better than me.
Yeah.
Why would I want to be in the limelight and the bottom in that situation? You know what I mean? So he almost use you as a scapegoat to benefit him in that end of that situation.
Yeah. And it's crazy because towards like the end of that, he started saying, because of me, I added 200 pounds to your deadlift. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And I always would tell him, I was like, you know what? You did help me, but you didn't work like me though. Like, and as a friend, he started getting more vocal with it, as far as like showing that he's not really a friend. He used to say like, man, I hate you because you're strong. I hate you. And like, he started getting real vocal. I'm like, well, you're really showing your colors. So I guess like over time, it did eat at him. And it's crazy because like, even through all that, you think I would be smart enough to like then separate, which I kind of like separate the situation, but I kind of stuck around for a little bit. Like I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe he's just going through some shit. Maybe he's just depressed right now or whatever. But the relationship never changed. And so now I'm going to a different place, separating myself, and I'm almost in solitude there. And then like when people come up and talk to me, it's like, all right, I'm working out. I don't know if I want to make friends with anybody. Like I'm just here to do that. So the point is like, do I let it take me to a place where now I'm not social? But then I also look at is as a gift that he gave me, because even in what the criticism, I'm very particular on my form. So I'm always going to be the best that I can be because of that.
So does your past experiences being fucked over, like I said before, which everybody glanced over, but does your past experiences being fucked over carry over to that new person that you're trying to trust?
It can.
I think that's where your guard comes up then, because now you experience the same situation and you're back in it. But you've been in situations before. We all been in situations we've been in before, and we've dealt with certain way at that time. But does that way we've dealt with it work now? How can you find that flaw in the way you did it? And like that's a part of growth in the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But like he switched gyms.
Yeah.
But he still continued probably what he taught him, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a form of, again, animosity, like who said it? Nieto. Sometimes overshadows a form of respect, which I do agree with, because if I'm doing it better than you, but you taught me, I'm probably going to try to shit on you. But that's because I'm doing it better, but it doesn't mean that person's not working twice as hard as I am, or one time as hard as I'm. Fuck, maybe they're just
built like that. You know what I'm saying? Towards you actually competition?
Personally?
Because that's how I see it.
If I wanted to be good at something, I would always go find that person that is the way I want to be at it. I'm going to go find them. And I'm going to learn, but I'm not going to try to surpass you based off foreshadowing respect, based off respect. Like, it's not a competition. It's almost education, if you think. Regardless of what it is, being like a dental assistant, weightlifting, the army, fucking a doctor, you always are going to have to go learn from someone.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to be better, or at least be receptive to what they take or give you, and then push it out. And then when you are pushing that shit out, that's when you make your changes.
So, and that, I'm glad you said that being receptive, being receptive to it, and actually knowing it. Not everybody that is kind of, from my experience, I can only speak from my experience. Not everybody that I've dealt with has ill feelings towards me. And the reason why I'm saying this is because they don't want to see me like end up down bad. But they, I wouldn't say inspire to be where I'm at. They want to have what I have.
You know, and it's crazy because I think it's a time we shifted from I want to have what the person above me has, and then push that past. But now it's like I want that.
So you're gonna start changing your diet, changing your routine, changing this. You're gonna start reevaluating yourself to get where that person is. Now, is that animosity trying to be?
That, to me personally, that sounds like straight animosity.
Really?
Because if I'm willing to change everything, like I'm talking everything to be like one person, I'm clearly jealous. I envy them in a respectful way, but I have animosity built up because I want what you have. And again,
but I'm not taking anything from you.
You're not taking, but you're giving.
Aspiring.
Exactly. You're giving in a way that you don't know you're giving. And that's where that gap is, of people don't know what is taking and what is recepting. And it's like what you've taught me. I can recept it. I can sit there, like break it down, understand it, and apply it. But some people cannot do that. They'll take it and then they'll just be like, all right, well, that's how he does it, so I'm going to do it just like that based off how he or she does it. but I'm gonna do it the way they do it, based on the animosity or say anger, like at work. Let's say you have the most chill motherfucker at work, and they want to be like you, right? But they only see you yelling and being almost aggressive.
When do I?
Not you.
I was about to say,
listen,
when the fuck do I?
you're like a teddy bear.
He's
Ah!
like, "You yesterday, quit lying."
Yeah, but no, he don't yell like that. But that person can recept that as yelling is respect, or yelling is you're gonna listen, or me being louder than you means that I'm above you.
Mm.
And when they recept that, I feel like it gets almost lost in
But-
translation based on the person.
But what I'm saying is that like just because I want to be where you are,
Mhm.
how is that animosity? I haven't
'Cause
done
you have
nothing
what they
to
don't.
you.
But
I
you
haven't
have
done
what they don't.
anything towards y'all.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know.
want this, you know what I mean? Like, I want this platform to
All right, so you're telling
to
me you
the
see
moon.
Drake, and he got all this shit. Like, it'd be nice to have that, right? But you're not gonna go be like him. That's to me. That's
But I
animosity.
know
It's
my
like,
limits. I can't be like I don't tell me what's really going on. Yeah, I can't do that.
That was Young Soldier. What are you talking about?
Like,
Drake.
I can't do that.
In
but
the
I
end,
mean, I
you
get
can
what you're
adapt
saying.
to that person's life, but it's how you. To me, it's how you recept it. Like that person has that because of this.
So is rubbing. Ooh, I'm glad you put that up. So is rubbing shoulders with somebody who you want to be animosity?
What do you mean by rubbing shoulders?
Is so like say okay. I'll put it to you in a perspective. So you of course everybody wants to be a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
Even a billionaire, right? Everybody wants that. I don't give a damn what he said.
I've openly said that I never want to because it'd be too much money, and I don't know what I do with it.
But
But
at
at the end of the day, yeah, of
like,
course, I fucking love
you
that.
would want to, right?
Yeah.
So everybody will want to have that. But if you have, say, I don't know, Ed Koch came down on Wall Street, dude, and was like, "I'm willing to teach you everything you need to know."
Mm-hmm.
Would you not do that? He's a fucking billionaire. Would you not?
And I'm gonna,
try
you know
to
what?
learn?
I'm gonna bounce back on what you said. I would, but I would find a way to make it my way. So when that next person comes, I can almost simplify it more than the person above me did. So it's easier. I don't want to say. I honestly, I don't want to use the word easier, but it's more understandable because you were taught something at one point and you were like, I don't fucking get it. And then you finally understood it and you were like, oh, this is all I need. But going from top to bottom, it maybe is that bottom person, do they just need that switch of how to do it versus how it's normally taught, like the social norm of things, how they are?
If somebody, I'll ask you, Drew. If somebody, if somebody who's who's a big figure right now?
Drake. We'll just keep using Drake,
We'll
honestly.
keep using Drake. Okay. Whatever.
Biggest motherfucker
Whatever.
out there.
So Drake came personally, knocked on your door, and was like, "Hey, I know you want to do this. I can teach you how to do it." Just like in your analogy,
Yeah.
is him teaching you everything and you actually doing everything he says and to complete that task? Is that animosity or is that like, oh, I have ill feelings towards him? No,
That's
it's
envy.
a form of
To me,
help.
that's envy.
I think if it was, I would, of course, it depends on how Drake would take it. I feel like it would be like, I want to learn from you. And it depends on how humble that person is. Like even that guy that me waiting
Nah,
for,
go to
like
Drake.
I
That
actually
But let me.
I actually prefer like to always respect him for teaching me whatever. So like if Drake was teaching me and like showing me okay the ins and out of the industry, where to go to get started off, or like what producer to go to, like I'm gonna learn from that.
Mhm.
And I think that I would respect that person for even being that person to actually take me. It's like Lil Wayne to him, you know, like he always respected Wayne, even though he surpassed Wayne. You know, it's based on his streams and all this other stuff. I'm talking about money wise, as far as like where he got in his career. You know what I mean? And so,
okay, I was like, wait a minute.
yeah. And so
But no, I
like,
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
but he knew the market though. He targeted women like for real. Like that's what he did. But like I think it would be if Drake felt like, oh shit, like I'm
Mm.
losing fans because of this motherfucker now. Like I almost regret doing this for him. You know, I think the animosity would come to the person giving out the information if they can accept that, wow, I changed this person's life. And I would look at it as like I have a gift to teach people this. You know what I mean? And
We got,
I
go ahead. My fault. I didn't mean to
no,
cut
you
you off.
good, you good. So like, I mean, pretty much that's it. Like, if I'm teaching you something, I want to see you succeed because like that shows that I know what I'm talking about. Like, if I teach you something and you fail at it, you're gonna look at me like this motherfucker don't know what he's talking about. And two, like I would never ever recommend anyone to go to him because he doesn't know shit. You know, so you want them to succeed because now you seem knowledgeable, but then it's like, but then there is that that sense of like always be grinding to be better. Like if Drake kind of gave up and now people are taking the spotlight, like it's for Drake to adapt, and that's what he kind of does as an artist. He adapts to different styles and shit. But like that's what it's your job to maintain that position.
So
You
we
know
got
what
a
I'm
flood.
saying?
Yeah, I got you, pimp. But we got a flood of Jesus, we got a flood of comments right now coming in. We got, of course, from status can influence negative emotions.
Mhm.
That is true. That yeah, I do agree with that. And then we have from Moana again. If it's not broke, why fix it, Ruffner? And I'm gonna make him stand on what he said like when he come back. So he can. So yeah, Moana talking about your ass right now.
Bring it back to Andrew.
Nah, bro. But I'm gonna get to the comments. Animosity is like wishing someone harm or a downfall. Simply
Yeah.
desiring what someone else has not done
Hold on.
necessarily mean you wish them harm.
Yeah.
You
Low-key
may
wanna answer that
admire,
first one.
envy, or be jealous, but it's not animosity. Basically, what I was just goddamn saying. Appreciate it, Victoria. Thank you, guys. What I'm saying. We got another one.
Motherfucker, I've been saying that same shit the whole time. It's
I-
animosity. All right. If it's not broke, why fix it? Or would you resent? Or would your resent for that person push you to try to change things, Ruffner? It's 2 F's. Just so you're aware, Moana. Even though he just gave you advice, I'll be like, okay, it's not broke, so I fix it. All right.
Yep.
Fuck.
Victoria, I appreciate you goddamn tuning in.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It means
I'm
a lot
I'll be
to
personal
us.
with you. All right.
Also, what's up, Lyric? Woo! Sorry.
Ruff, why we always got... I'm pissing, yo. The bladder weak. The seal been open before we took the shot. We filmed like 30 minutes worth of shit, bro. And then found out we weren't live. All right. Let me go back to the Ruff.
All right. So you
All right,
you
if
got
it's
some
not broke-
explaining to do right
If
now.
it's not
you know,
broke,
then
why
you
fix it, Ruffner?
All right.
What do you mean by that?
Yep.
Because
Yep. You
or
got some
was
explaining.
that you...
Mm-hmm.
Like
You know what?
for instance, like I don't resent him. I feel like I'm more wise to like what he was like his whole game. You know what I mean? And like then it started showing it more, even in our interaction. Like he would say, like, "Man, I hate you for being strong. Like, don't do this because you may be better at me than this." And then he would be like, "Oh, I added this to your strength or whatever, like 200 pounds and shit like that." So it's like I don't resent him by any means. I
that's
take it
cool.
as a gift. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so
Yeah.
All right, let me address Moana. It's
I'ma
not
fall
broke,
back.
why
I'ma
fix it?
fall
Or
back,
would you
small
resent
back.
that person? All right. Back then, I would have absolutely resented the person trying to tell me to change.
mhm.
Because at the time, I'll give it a year and a half ago and then past. Like any time from a year and a half ago then. Because the last year and a half been a little wonky. But it is what it is. Back then, I would have absolutely resented you for trying to tell me to change things. I hate change. I hate. Oh fuck! I hate change to an extent. I know I need change, but I don't want to change, and that's my own issue. Because when I look at myself every day, I'm fine with that. I'm cool. I'm happy. I'm
Are you?
don't start this shit. Slightly happy. You'll find out eventually. I'll bring it up here and there, but
Oh,
not right now.
here we go.
But I just gotta take it. Oh, you're making it seem like you resent the person.
So
Again, hold on, I got this. Back then, 100%. I'm very independent, just due to some things in life, and I personally, like, when it comes to just me, I don't think that I know I have now as I'm older and saying this, but back then I didn't think a lot of things were issues. But now I understand that I do need change just due to everything going on around me. But no, I'm not taking a shit. I was taking a piss. Nieto, Dad, hey, sir, you're right. I was taking a shit. I was definitely not taking a piss. I was shitting all over the walls and shit. If that,
wait, on my walls?
not your walls, Kim's walls. Relax.
What the fuck?
But yeah, back then I would have resented the person trying to help me. Because at that time I didn't think I needed help.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through some things to where I realized, like, I needed help. I've went and got the help. I have the help that I need now.
Moana.
So I do think it's, again, based on the mindset of the person. And my mindset back then was never positive, unless it involved my kid. But now it's extremely more positive towards everything, and I'm more receptive to help, in my opinion, at least. Like I've went and reached out. I've gotten the help, like, personally, that, again, I think I needed. I'm sure I can fix thousands of things about me.
Mm-hmm.
But in the time, yeah, resentment definitely would have. Someone trying to help me, I didn't enjoy that, because I didn't like. I don't like receiving help. I hate handouts. I hate help. Exactly. The angle is to be more better and efficient, Moana. But then again, god damn, yo, what type of cord you got? I want to read what she said before. Moana, you're right. I would resent the person trying to help me, because at the time I didn't think I needed help, and I thought I was on that straight and narrow path. Probably wasn't, but in my mind I was. I get always trying to push to make things better for me. I would take what they give me as a foundation.
There you go.
Damn, that shit.
Oh, I definitely agree with Moana. She's killing it right now.
Give me up as a foundation, like a starting point.
She's killing it right now. 100% agree.
Better, I would help someone else. God damn.
See what I'm saying?
Y'all make me feel like a dickhead right now.
See what I'm saying? Like,
Just on real time shit. If I'm going to be honest with you, and that's because my guard is up, bro. I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it. I want it in the end of the day, but in that moment, it's kind of like I'm so weary. It's like I know I want it, because when I go to bed, I think about it. But during the day, oh god damn, I'm really speaking out my mind right now. But in the beginning of the day, it's like nah. But end of the day, it's like that's what I need.
Yeah.
So I think
it makes sense, Moana. I'll give you that. I'm a creature.
That Neto, she's a demigod. You better stop it.
Who the fuck is Moana? Hey, yo, Moana, who are you? My first time interacting with you, talking about a demigod. First of all, you spelled it wrong. You spelled that shit wrong.
That's Neto.
Nah, bro, Moana, the Hawaiian princess. I'm definitely gonna get my shit wrong for saying that.
Yeah, you are. It's all right.
Moana to me is Moana. Whatever.
Again, thank you for goddamn.
It's awesome.
Thank you for tuning in to the Legacy of Ours. We're gonna keep going and keep going, because these topics right now they're hot.
Can I talk about my nanobots?
This shit like therapy sometimes, and I enjoy it. Thank you, Nieto. Thank you to everybody throwing a fucking comment,
subscribe, please. Everything helps. Thank you so much. Your opinions will be heard, and your topics will be said. So.
Okay, did we talk about the nanobots already, or was that when we? My little that was the other one. All right.
Yeah.
Can I tell the people this crazy story?
Story.
All right. Engineers designed tiny batteries for powering cell-sized robots. These zinc air batteries, smaller than a grain of sand, could help minuscule robots sense and respond to their environment. So pretty much, this was a study that was done by the U.S. Army, and they're talking about having these batteries as the size, like as thick as the a hair,
You said like
and
nanobots, basically, right?
like yeah, some big hero shit. Have you ever seen that show? Yeah, exactly. Some shit, but even smaller. And what they do is they'll inject it into you
I didn't
into
call
the
it I was literally saying thank you. Bye.
I'm sorry.
Fuck, my
There's
bad,
a
yo.
whole list right
You-
now.
what is going on?
You
They-
opening a part of my mind that I don't give to some people,
Dog, so
most people, honestly, and it's got me thinking about real life shit going on right now.
bro,
And that's really all how I live my life. Today is today, and tomorrow is what I make of today.
brother, he's on one right now. You and y'all beefing.
I don't even know Moana. Fuck. It's your backstory, so it's understandable. I told you it made sense. Come on, man. Why
I
you
know,
shit
I
on
know,
me?
I know. My bad. Go ahead. Microscopic.
Like you heard, bro. You fucking shit on me.
Oh my
You're right
God.
here. It's here on the screen, fucking miles away, probably.
Anyway, if you guys are looking for nanobots, go to the army right now. They're selling them right now. No, but essentially they inject you with like these micro nanobots that release like drugs into an area. And before we had a conversation about like AI technology and like how it was like the generation has changed. Like AI is going to be like a normal thing. Like, did you know Will.i.am sold his likeness? And so
You know
like
what?
he can kind of do
I
shit
read
like
about
that.
that. That motherfucker he be doing some good shit. Will.i.am, low key. I don't know what it is. I remember last time I read it, he was helping. He was helping. Fuck, I forgot what it was. He just been using his platform to help people.
Yeah,
And, like, like Ashton Kutcher. I haven't been up to date with him, but I
yeah.
know last time I read about it, he was using his platform to help child sex trafficking and.
Ain't he
all
friends
that.
with Diddy?
Huh?
Ain't he friends with Diddy though?
I don't know. Diddy's friendless. I'm not friends with Diddy.
I think there was like a whole article about him and with Diddy. I could be wrong.
That shit, low key, if Diddy, Epstein, and Kutcher had a fucking group, it would make sense. One's saving them, one's bringing them, and one's, I'm not going to say it.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm not
Yeah.
for it for watching Moana.
Right. So let me ask you a question. So like if you had an illness, they just came out with these nanobots. They got them in a fucking jar and everything. They put them in a syringe and like, all right, we're going to inject you with this shit. It's going to help you, but there are technology in your body. Would you do it? Like if like this is like the first stage and people trying it, now you know the world's going to eventually turn to it. Do you accept it? We talked about like the generations changing. You know what I mean? So
I'm not negatively receptive to the medical world because I don't have a part in it.
yeah.
But if they think it's going to be better and more efficient, and like they can prove it, I'm for it.
Yeah.
But if not, then no. Like
So
absolutely not.
saying I would take I would say this as well. Like with OxyContin, everybody thought that was a good drug. Everybody
Shit,
thought it
they
was
still
the
think
cure.
it is a good drug.
Everybody. Well, I mean, not in the army. It's not.
No, I'm not even laughing at you, bro. I can't even laugh at that comment from Nieto.
But you know what I mean. What did he say? But not everybody thought. Oh, I don't think it's a good. drug.
Ain't they two brown motherfuckers?
Dude, I know it's not about me.
But it does help though. But now we see the destruction that is caused and the addiction that is caused.
Yeah. So what's her name? Lyric, his or her. Lyric said, "Hell no, they're putting."
Okay, hold on.
I know Lyric.
And that makes sense though.
Hey,
'Cause-
I know Paige, but I don't know Victoria. I don't
She
know
said-
Moana.
They said absolutely not.
yeah, okay. And here's the thing:
Right.
like, they have to gain a lot of trust from the civilians because a lot of motherfuckers, like, who took the COVID shot. I know a kid specifically. This motherfucker was an athlete. He took the COVID shot. He had a fucking heart attack, and they were saying it was all linked to that COVID shot, and it was pretty much mandatory for people to take it. And now this kid can't even do softball or whatever the fuck he was doing because he had a heart attack, so his heart's now fucked up. So they'd be like, all right, listen, we're gonna save your life right now, but just there's robots in your body, but they're gonna give you the medicine. And so, like, yeah, I know, but that's a new thing. They're talking about the Neuralink. You've seen Elon Musk. There was a guy.
I don't know if I'm behind because it's the motherfucker makes cars. All right, like cars are rocket ships.
Well, you know they did it, right? You've seen that, right?
No, I know they did it, but I don't think like that's something like I think I would draw the line on. Like nanobots, they probably have the chip in them. All right, I'm willing to take the gamble.
Yeah.
But you actually putting a chip in me? No. If I know it's gonna make me better, like I will always take that.
Right. So the nanobots, they say, will
Sure, like,
eventually
hell
come
no,
out
I
of
ain't
your
doing
body.
I took my COVID shot for a 4-day to Dave and Buster's. So
Priorities.
but I agree with the COVID shot? Absolutely not, because motherfuckers still be getting it, but it's the same thing as the flu shot, and motherfuckers still be getting the flu, and we all been getting the flu since we were born.
Yeah, they're saying the COVID shot's like the flu right now, like you said. Yeah, I know y'all gonna be dead in a few days. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like it is what it is. Like I got life.
Well, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, like that's how life is going right now. We were talking about like the generational curve, like older guy, like us, our generation. Can you imagine what we're gonna have to like accept because it's whatever is the normal?
My kid is gonna have to go through. I have to sit there and calculate it. I'm gonna have to be like, is that right for you?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I never had it. That's the only reason why I'll question. I'm sure you can. I don't know if you have kids or nothing, but I know you have kids, and I know they're at that age where you have to question things like,
I got a
is that
football team?
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
you
me
got
too.
I got a starting 5. Homie.
That's
Yep.
3 extra large pizzas when y'all want to eat.
I know. I'm the best friends with Future and Nick Cannon.
Exactly. Like, is it something us as people for the younger generation below us? Are we going to be accepting of that, or is it on us to almost like break it down for them to give them the decision to make it? Ooh, fuck.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up because I just talked about that earlier about the separation between the older and the younger generation.
Sick of our generation.
Exactly.
What the fuck?
So like,
I can't go in that
I'm
deep,
part
but
of the GWAT era, and all I know is basically kind of like, I wouldn't say kind of, but the destroy shit.
Yeah,
and
that's
make
understandable.
shit right.
Yeah.
And nowadays they're not doing that anymore. So like my mindset is totally different. So
it's the way we were raised. So I truly believe the way you're raised impacts the way you live. And until you're able to live, you'll never understand change.
But the question is now, again, how do we bridge that fucking gap to where we can understand one another? How do we do that? Because I know my train of thought is not like my daughter's train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Track.
And
well, after today's interaction,
but like how do we do that? Like, of course, everybody's like, hey, maybe go out and do this, or
let's
daughter and dad activities.
How do you bridge that gap with your daughter? Like, what do you do to make sure she knows that this is kind of what's going on versus what you've been teaching her? Like when your kid goes back to school, right? Back then, I never got to not talk about someone's deficiency or what's wrong with them. It was just have a good day at school and learn.
Yeah.
Now we got to be really receptive as parents to be like, hey, and like I agree with it. Don't get me wrong. I wish I was taught it as a kid.
True.
But you have to understand that people are different or things are different than what you are used to. So you don't have to completely agree with it. But I think as long as you have that base of understanding and you hear the shit I say on a daily basis. So I have a small base of understanding. But I think as long as you have that base, you can build from it. But it's also not on that lower generation to maybe build. It's kind of on us to teach so they can build. Because like me personally, like my kid's starting school next week. And I had to talk with him the other night on FaceTime when I was talking to him. It's like, hey, you're going back to school. Like, he said some out-of-pocket shit. Like, he's a 4-year-old. It is what it is because he's 4. But when he's 10, 12, 20, like I can't defend him his whole life, So I do think it's on us as the lower generation to, Shannon, what you do?
Shit, I slept on the floor last night with my damn daughter. Watching Moana, actually.
Make way. That's the new count, ain't it?
If we, no, I'm not even trying to be rhetorical at all. Yeah, I slept on the floor last. And the hard, my back. I got.
Yeah.
But I think again, it's on us as the older generation. I'm not gonna say parents, people, or anything, but that generation that's above the one that's coming up into the world that we were never brought into. It's almost on us to communicate the differences and how to go about it. You don't have to like almost mold their minds into be like
Yeah.
this, that, but it's like, hey, there is this out there. And
Mhm.
if you are receptive to it, respond like this. If you are not, don't do this thing. And I could be wrong. Like honestly, like I could be wrong based on the 3 people we're talking to, plus Moana, Victoria, and Lyric, and Paige, and everyone else. But I think it is. Yeah, I like that way better. I think it is on us as that generation to almost teach the not change, but the gap in change to the people that are going to come up until they hit that point of comprehension.
Yeah.
But where is that?
That's
Where does that lie at?
that is on that one person. But as me personally, I feel like as long as I can get my child to understand that there are things different in the world and he is receptive to what I'm saying to him, it is on him to hit that level of comprehension. Like he's 4, but let's say he's 8, 10, or 12. Let's say he's 12 and he's going into like fucking 6th grade. I'm still going to have the same talk with him every single year. And I might add things that I've learned or that is different about this time. But I still feel like as leaders and the older generation, and not everyone's a natural born leader or able to lead.
Mhm.
But I feel like from that mindset, as a parent, you're able to almost instill a baseline of all of the emotions. So like respect, comprehension,
Right.
sadness, happiness. Because like I was never taught how to deal with my anger as a child, like growing up. So when I was angry, I would react on the spot.
Yeah.
And I never like, you know what I mean? Like I would just get hot headed right there. Like I would never go home, think about it, and then bring it up because at the time I was never taught to like have a conversation.
Yeah.
I was always taught to deal with it.
Yeah, y'all Chicago motherfuckers is on some other
Even that, like that even breaks it into a deeper fucking conversation. The single mom conversation, the divorced parent conversation. But in the end of the day, let's say with those 2 situations involved now, it is still based on the level of comprehension and education that as a parent you can push so that younger generation almost understand what's going on. And nothing's great in the world. Like I could be wrong about certain things that you were certain on. Like you might like red couches and I might teach my kid to fucking hate red couches. But that's based on, again, the older generation teaching down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine the differences me and you had growing up.
So how can
or all 3 of us.
I got a question for you, Joe.
Yeah.
How can, just like how you said, the young generation or the older generation teaching down, how can the younger generation teach up?
Well, I think the younger generation have the future in their advantage in a way of like they have time coming regardless. Like they would die, and no matter what, time is going to keep going forward. They know the older generation will die out eventually.
A t-shirt, a fucking whatever the fuck it is, they will always live on. A hat with a stitching that says long live whatever. I'm gonna get my own. I have friends, like I'm gonna get it because that's what I'm used to seeing. But how do I, you know what I'm saying? Like how would I teach my son to react to his enemies?
So I think like the older generation would have to learn tactics of the new generation to get their point across, because you have to speak their language. It's like speaking code. Like if you're writing code for a website or whatever, you got to know the language. Yeah. And so like
you had no clue what backdoor meant, but it's almost, I feel like me personally, I'm at that generation gap to where I almost have to learn what they're saying to understand how I can progress later. Because like, bro, I could be working at Michael's craft store. First job ever in my world. Loved it. Always stole from the register. Like it was what it was. But
he did not steal from the register.
Oh yes,
it's a statute of limitations thing, right?
I think yeah. I'm fucking with you. $300.
Shut the fuck up.
But how can I, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is on me to teach my son that customer, based on their beliefs, they're right. Like, it's almost like a respecting. I forgot who just commented it. I think it was Nieto. He just said, "Yeah, you got it covered with show." Now, hi. How would I teach my son to react to his enemies? And do you have kids at all?
Yes, I
You
got.
do?
Claimed.
How
I
would
got
you
trouble.
teach your? And I'm going to use the son card because, like, I would always teach my daughter something different than my son, and could be that generational gap.
Yeah,
But I think the current generation, you have to do that based on times now. How would you teach your son right now to
Mhm.
deal with an enemy? Both, honestly, both of you. And I'm gonna give my input at the end. And Nieto, fucking comment in. Everybody comment in if you got kids.
Yeah,
How are you dealing with it? Because
that's right.
my kid's 4. He's going into school again on Monday.
Yeah.
And he got a hard time. He's a little aggressive.
Mhm.
But I don't know why he's aggressive towards kids at school. So, like, I can't preach him that.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you guys deal with it? Just daughter, son, enemies, and not being friendly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put that up there. I'm gonna let you go ahead and start that one off, pimp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
that's
Do that first of all.
This one.
Yeah, from Moana. I want to read it. I feel like me and Moana got beef right now.
All right, so
Okay.
I'll go first. So with me,
Okay, I agree with that.
how to. The topic is basically right now. So, how would you teach your son to react to his enemies? I don't have a son, so I can't at all.
Mhm. Okay, so what I would do.
Did you hear what the fuck he said? I'm trying to squint to read Moana's comment because me and her got beef.
Yeah.
Say it again.
No, I don't have a son, so I can't.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, how would you? Okay.
But girls are vicious too,
Daughter
man.
not running
They-
around.
They are.
Girls are vicious, bro.
I don't
They
have one, so I can't speak on it.
All right.
Yeah.
So I would say this: if my daughter had enemies,
Let's say she came home right now from the bus stop and was crying, and she said, "Someone here." How would you tell her to deal with it?
you're not coming in this goddamn house without goddamn.
You better come back with a
You
bruise.
better come back with something. Hair, like
A bald spot, don't give a fuck. A black eye.
Well, see, isn't that the challenge though? Like, what if your daughter's
That's what I
not
was
like
about
that?
to bring up. Isn't
You
that
know what I mean?
generational teaching?
Yeah, but that's what I would want to do. But
That's
I
what
know
you
I
were
can't
raised doing, right?
do that now.
That's what you were raised doing.
That's what I was raised. Like, I got into a fight. You think I can go back home? Be
Fuck
like-
no.
Exactly.
I wasn't even gonna go back
Right.
home.
Yeah.
Did you win? No,
Sometimes.
you lost. Now I'm coming home to twice the ass whooping.
Nah, see, that's when you build a foe. When you lose, that's a foe, and I'm gonna backdoor you.
But
Do not care.
But that's what I'm saying. Me personally, like how I would actually justify, like, hey, like if you do have an enemy,
Like a
Yeah,
reasonable
I'm-
justification of what you would do now. Because I know you. So don't say no bullshit that you would say to your daughter. Because I personally would never sit down with my enemy. And I would never teach my kid.
No.
Oh, damn. I sound like a terrible father. Shit, I'm about to change my opinion real quick. Say what you about to say. Because I'm about to teach him
No,
shit tomorrow.
But on some real shit, like of course, like let people know what
Yeah.
the fuck's going on. Of
Yeah,
course,
exactly what lyrics said, bro. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Do you just like give them the knowledge,
grab
like
a fucking chair, just start beating the shit out of them in class.
yeah? I think they had to have confidence, right?
Now for that.
Yeah,
'Cause she said, and to stand up for yourself, but not always resorting to being physical.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna teach my kid to
So-
fight for himself.
So
like
we
it is
have-
what it
we have
is.
some comments from the chat right now.
Okay, so what if outside of being physical, what if it's like an emotional attack? You know,
So
kids are
emotional.
vicious nowadays. Like they start talking about maybe
Yeah.
your family's like, oh, your family's broke, or like you lost your dad. Like they start really going like crazy, like deep into these kids, and it's like I think it's reinforcement to them when it comes to like how we raise them. Like, okay, here's an example. My sister told me that there was, and this was like some type of analogy, that a father went into his daughter's room and told her she was beautiful, smart, and strong. Okay. And he told her that every night he put her to bed. You are strong, you are smart, and you are strong. She went to school and a bully went up to her and was like, you're stupid, you're dumb. And she goes, no, I'm not. My father tells me every night that I'm strong. and I'm smart and intelligent. So it's like instilling that they're strong enough to know that whatever they're hearing is bullshit. Now, when it comes to physical, that's a different story. Like, yeah, you have to learn standing up for yourself in a way of like, even if I have to take an ass whooping, they know that I'm going to stand up for myself regardless. And then it may go down a different way. You see what I'm saying? And so, I think that's my camera. I'm not even bullshitting.
But no, I mean, I understand that. I 100% understand where you're coming from as far as the physical aspect and the mental aspect.
I mean, that
at
the time was normal. Like kids hitting each other in school, that shit was normal.
So now I think that as parents, I think with us being so new to it and actually figuring it out, it's all a progress. And so, like, not one person is going to be like, you need to do it this way. Like, no. Like, it's all kind of like an 8-step program.
Push up. Oh.
No. If you know, you know. But
is he frozen?
The thing is that like there's things.
Am I frozen?
Your hand up like this.
But there's things that you can know about your child and know about how they are raised, because you're raising them, and to see the difference on how they become, because they aren't you. They're a part of you. They have qualities of you, but they're not you. They're their own individual. So by us understanding, like, hey, like, this girl talks too fucking much. Like, you know to sit there and just be quiet and just let her talk.
Yeah. I don't know. I like you saying that because now I'm feeling it. He is not me. He's only an extension. He's an extension of two people, and he only is to learn right.
Yeah.
And what is right versus what is wrong.
Yeah.
Definitely depends on the two people raising.
Yeah.
Because I know me and her have different views about a lot of shit. But
damn, that's crazy.
No, I mean it's true. Like, Moana just exactly. Kids are so receptive; they learn from their behaviors. They're around regularly, whether it's intentional or not, which is a characteristic.
She did say earlier, kids are sponges,
yeah,
and she is right. Kids don't know nothing. Their brains are fresh. They don't know shit. Mm-hmm. It is on us as parents to teach them the right. Not the right or the wrong, but fuck it. You know, that's kind of hard to speak about because you don't know what's right in 5 years, 2 years.
And that's exactly because just like how in the 80s, before fucking drinking and driving wasn't cool, it was.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I know. I agree with it as well. You want to go ahead and take care of this one?
Nah, you're good.
It sounds like the new generation needs everything, needs to be handed to them. To experience it, the true teacher. Well, yeah, experience is always going to be the true teacher. But
Moana's hitting some good points. You know, I took some notes, right?
I just want to give a shout out to Moana real quick on the
I know
absolutely like great points. Like the way I was raised, I won't raise my kid that way.
Yeah.
Whatever way it was, like I'm gonna try to stay away from that or stray away from that. And I can only put him into certain situations. But she's right. The brain is powerful.
And it's only receptive until a certain point, until it's what's the word to give out?
Oh, as soon as thumbs
up. We're gonna make up a word. We're gonna make up a word. It's giveceptive. The brain the brain is only willing to recept things until it's ready to push out things. And again, like she's saying right now, you have to be vocal and use your words. And that is definitely one thing I use to teach my kid is my words, like eye contact and listening and just using my words to him, because I will never be unaccountable for what I say to him. Like if I swear in front of him, that motherfucker smack the shit out of my hands.
Yeah.
But if he says the same thing, it's the same way. And to me, it's teaching accountability because eventually, hopefully he's not saying bad words.
Oh, you know he is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Of course.
It's my child. It is what it is.
But in my mind, that is teaching the accountability that like this is that. But eventually I'm gonna have to change that because he's gonna get used to getting his hands hit and saying bad words. Now I'm gonna have to come with something else. And again, it's still truly on us to build that level of respect, disrespect, and acceptance that it is our words against them, and what they hear us say, they will take in and be like, "Oh, my dad or mom says that,
Right.
so I'm gonna do it because my dad and mom are dad and mom."
So now I'm a transgress this conversation, kind of put it from top to bottom, just to like a little hourglass.
Yeah.
Can your son or daughter be your friend or be your foe?
Depends on the situation, because I have small personal issues with my child.
No, think about it. Like
Like, I'm gonna be honest, me and my kid beef. Just
but-
between me and him, we beef.
No,
but in
but like-
general, great child.
But like, can that happen? And when do you know to either pull back
Mm.
or?
Can I know you hate talking about politics.
Oh God!
I know
Yeah.
you hate it.
Yeah,
Can I just say,
Fuck it.
Can I-
Let's hear it.
can I just say it? Can I just say it? All right, just give me, just hear me out. Okay, so I was listening to a book, right? And I know he's Republican. It's Ted Cruz's book. He talks about his father and his upbringing in Cuba, and he talks about Fidel Castro coming in and him being a dictator and communist, right? And Fidel Castro would go into the schools, right? And he had all these kids sitting at their desk, and he said, first thing for being like a communist, you have to get rid of any type of other social belief. So like religion, done. No, I am your religion, right? He had these kids close their eyes, and he said, pray to your God for candy and open your eyes, and there was no candy. Then he says, close your eyes and pray to Fidel Castro and pray for candy. And the kids open their eyes, and all the guards put candy by their desk. So for one, it's a brainwash thing, right? But the reason for me saying that was like just knowing like just that type of like control, you know what I mean? And how much like it starts one from as kids. It's a whole manipulation thing. But that's kind of like just how crazy things can be changed even from like children as well. It's like it's all about like that upbringing, you know. And
Yeah.
so, but and I know you hate talking about it, but you know, I had to kind of like bring that
I
up.
personally think location dictates the upbringing because of social standards and economics. Like if we were all born in North Korea right now,
Yeah.
we'd be raised to praise Kim Jong-un, or whoever it is now, Kim Jong-un soon, whatever the fuck it is. We'd be praised to do that. And like I've seen like TikToks and YouTube videos about the people that were raised there. And it's like what you're saying is all brainwashed.
Mhm.
And they sit there and they're taught to think that this is the right way from such a young age. And what's her name?
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Fucking Moana made a good point right here.
Which point? Because I was about to say the brain is powerful, and the way she's raising her kids is not the same way. But in that place, in societal norms, that place is so used to praising one person until
Mhm.
that one person is almost like that's not right, and they defect, or they challenge it, or they almost bring the problems up to it. What is it now, huh?
Is it-
Brother.
That's from Yarrow, not me, Mo.
Yeah, that's narrow. Not me.
But I do definitely think that location, upbringing, that generation above you's upbringing will definitely impact the
And
way that
I
you
think-
were brought up.
And
Yeah.
just like I think she actually put in a good point, because the generation now is more emotional, and that's why suicide is way more prominent.
That shit felt almost new when I was a kid. Are you kidding me? Suicide? What the fuck is
I
that?
think. Did you hear like is it Canada and somewhere in the US, like you can actually be euthanized. Like you go in and you say that you're depressed and you get put in a pod and you can actually be killed in like a humane way. Yeah, I'm not even bullshitting you.
What?
Yeah,
There's
dude, that's a real thing.
There is always a sunny side to the dark side.
Yeah.
And it's about the person's integrity to get there to that light side. And it is also on that person to make that light side.
What in the fuck?
But situation dependent, it is hard. And again, I do personally believe on that suicide is a very big thing that got brought up. Probably within the last 6 to 10 years. Like when I was a kid, you heard someone was sad. They were like, stop school. Let's talk to this lady. Let's get her figured out. Let's talk to all the kids. Yeah. Now it's almost like a social norm. Honestly, to me, it feels so normal when I hate saying it, but suicide is almost a social norm out of bullshit nowadays. Or like it, like you know what I mean? And I don't mean that on a negative way because I've had 4 friends kill themselves.
And I think
wow.
I'm sorry, I mean,
you're good. You're good.
To add to your point, there's a line. You want to be the friends of your child in the way that they feel comfortable being open with you, but you can't let them walk on you, like all over you.
Low key, that ties back to friend and foe.
Yeah.
Do you think parents are afraid?
You have to bridge that relationship before that bridge is broken, because once that shit's broken, you will never get that back. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, like once you almost make someone that too friendly of a friend, or like when it comes to a kid and you make them too comfortable, how are you going to pull them back from being too comfortable? You can't. They're too used to it. And in their brain, that is what they're...
Yeah.
So now I would say that you're just going off, like, in their brain. Like, it's kind of like speculation that you've seen.
It is speculation. Every child's brain is speculation because of our generation.
I just had to put that up.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Like, you have to almost read the child to understand what they like. My kid loves trains, cars, monster trucks. I would never take him down like that motherfucker be singing the Army song around his house.
Jesus Christ.
But I won't take my kid down a certain toy aisle because I know he don't like it. But it's also on me to kind of know what he likes to keep him happy, because in the end of the day, as adults, you're only going to do what you like to make you happy, right?
So there's one in the comments right now that's talking about assisted suicide. It's not for normal depression, only chronic illness.
Yeah, I knew it's like
goes to what he said then.
I think you have to like go through like a series of like tests, and you have to go through doctors, and like you have to prove how clinically depressed you are and that like life has no meaning for you for them to consider it. And I know it's active right now in Canada. It's first become legal along with assisted suicide in June 2016. For those
Canada has a high suicide rate. I thought that was the happiest fucking goddamn country.
They got milk and bags and shit.
What the hell?
I know what he's talking about. The assisted suicide.
Yeah, it has to be reasonably foreseeable. Like, so, like, yeah. I also heard like again, politics. I know. Shoot me. Elon Musk and Donald Trump were talking.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So like they're talking. They were in this discussion on X. They were talking, and so there's this thing where like if you have a terminal illness, that Trump wants to legalize the ability to use like extreme medicine. So medicine is that's not regulated in the U.S. If you have a terminal illness and you have nothing else to live for, or you have nothing else to lose, you have the right to go out and try experimental drugs to possibly save your life. And a lot of medical practitioners didn't want to do it because they're like, I don't want to get sued. And so he was trying to pass a law where like they wouldn't get sued, but you have to sign like this, I guess, I don't know, a contract saying that you would not sue. Like, what do you think about like, as far as like that, you know what I mean? And that kind of goes with like, if you're really clinically depressed, it's your body that you can go out and then have an assisted suicide, you know?
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah,
because
I really
I feel a certain way.
Okay, and I'm gonna put this.
Just do it. Just do it. At this point.
It's open talk. It's open dialogue.
How I feel is, if you really want to do something, do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at a certain level, you can't help it, right?
I expected you to say that.
But what? That's just how we talked about, like the gap in
Mm-hmm.
the generational and versus the younger and the older. That was just my mindset on how I
Well,
was.
then let me ask you
because
this: if your daughter came home from school,
wait a minute, because I've always seen people doing that as we never knew why, but
the army,
after
it's the army.
yeah, after actually experiencing it and having to go through it,
Mm-hmm.
I see that people have unsolved issues that is on the underlying belly for them,
Yeah.
which actually hurts them more. Yeah, you can come to work with a smile every day, but they don't
What's
see
really going on behind that smile?
So, and that's what I'm
Are
saying.
you really happy, or are you just putting that shit on?
So
Mhm.
that's where I guess that's just me in general. I don't feel like that's okay.
Okay.
But also that's just the left shoulder, but on the devil and the angel on both sides.
Yeah.
But on my right shoulder is kind of like survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
But I know I can't do that.
That brings back to the time we were raising, though.
Exactly.
G-Watch shit.
Mhm.
If you never joined the army and you never did the shit you did, you'd probably have a different outlook on suicide. Because I know both of ours are like, it's weak. It's the quickest way out of whatever situation you're in.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end of the day, it's fuck, bro. I don't talk about this a lot. It's the saddest.
Don't do it, by the way. If you're watching this, don't do it.
That goes without saying.
You advocate that shit right now.
Like this is a show. Like we all have mental fucking problems here.
Shit,
like,
we all got a date that was supposed to happen.
But please do not force it at all. Please,
Right.
Please.
Yeah.
I'll even put down in the chat my number or all of our number. Like you can talk to us.
Like it is what it is.
But just my standing on it. And that's just like you said, that's how we were raised.
Mm.
So like now when you have these new parents that's in the making.
Do you think they overcorrect? Like, as far as like here, so I'll explain. Like, the newer generation is overcorrecting, where like everybody is like, you're feeling. Back when we grew up, it's like you just have to deal with it in a way. You got to make it through. Like, you have to like just power through. That's how life is. Like, you're not gonna get nowhere being weak and soft. Whereas like right now, it's like a super overcorrection where like, what if this kid is like, I'm just sad, but they're like, are you really depressed? And they start feeling that they're like depressed, and maybe they're just going through like a normal thing in life,
Is that a disconnected feelings though and upbringing? Because like sad and depressed,
there's two different things.
Yeah,
you could be sad.
Fuck man, like I didn't win this
ever.
Game.
Yeah, exactly. You could be sad forever, but once that feeling of depression hits you, and it's almost like what we talked about earlier, that feeling of envy, jealousy, anger, fucking like sadness, like all those feelings that are not positive towards a situation and or a person. Could that almost play into the depression? Because like we all been depressed, maybe not, maybe so, but I'll be open about it. Yeah, I've been depressed.
Oh yeah.
Like fuck, like just came out of it type shit. And is it almost like me putting myself in those situations, or is it those situations molding me to be a better person? And in that time, I'm just kind of like depressed about it. Like, you know what I mean? And I think the level of, not the level, but the definition of depression from then versus now, two different things. Because when I grew up, depression was being sad.
Right.
And that's really all I knew. But now the level of depression is, hating your life, hating your coworkers, not wanting positive things for people, like all these negative shits that we were not talked about.
Mhm.
are taught in the end, and it's almost like it's new to our generation, but is it really new, or is it
Yeah.
just a new understanding or comprehension of a ongoing topic?
Right.
Again,
had
if
for
you feel like
years,
you
yeah.
are on that verge, please like reach out. Like
Yeah.
we
Oh, for sure.
don't condone. This is a whole platform for mental health and trying to seek
Yeah.
help. So, like
And
don't if you ever at a wit's end, please don't hesitate to
Man,
reach
fuck, I've
out
been there.
in the
now
comments.
you think like if therapy was like already included in healthcare, do you think people would actually use it, even though people need it? Like I know a lot of men probably wouldn't. They're not comfortable, and I think that's a generational thing. Like we're so used to like you got to deal with that shit. You got to keep going, But even if it was something that was accessible to us, you think we would actually use it, or would it just be a waste? Because obviously seeing a therapist is costly. It's out of pocket. It's not
All right,
included.
well, let me ask you though: have you? You don't have to answer truthfully, but for the
Sure.
sake of, you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I've been to a therapist before,
Yeah.
a couple times, and sometimes they just be talking about their own fucking problems,
Hmm.
or versus what we are offered as care
Yeah.
is not care.
Yeah.
It's almost like a punching bag. Like I've been before, and most recently, like I've been, and the lady started talking about her problems. Why
Mm.
would I want to sit there and talk about your problems when I'm seeking you? And
Or
I think
help.
the level and term of therapy / help has diminished for men. Ooh,
That's a
fuck.
big point right there. Damn,
I think it
damn.
truly, I'm gonna ride with it. You know what? Fuck it. I think it's truly diminished for men because of the societal norms that we've been held to over the last 100 years.
I agree
We're
with that.
supposed to work. We're supposed to take care of shit. We're supposed to come home and do it all again. Like we're literally
Mhm.
supposed to. We're taught, at least our generation, to do this, that, and the other, and not worry about this because it's not true.
Yeah.
But when, as men, we are now going to get the help, and we're kind of understanding it. We're like, yo, we actually do need this. We need to advocate this again for this podcast. Why do men feel like they're weak
I'm
if
good.
they
No,
go
keep
to therapy?
going.
I'm gonna give you a straight up answer.
I'm gonna answer that one. I'm gonna answer that one. So Kim K has said, "Why do men feel weak when they go to therapy?" The reason men feel weak when they go to therapy, one, not only are they talking about their emotions, they don't get results from that. Just how you just heard.
Why do you think my guard is up 100%?
Yeah.
Two, the thing is that yes, it is a good tool to deprogram and let everything out. Yes, that's nice. But now you've just let another now you're vulnerable to that person. Who knows what you're gonna be doing?
You know, I hate to cut you off, but like I'm very comfortable only having a certain amount of number of people in my life. That sounds almost shitty to anyone that wants to be in my life, but there is a number. It's almost where I cap out, and it's almost where I lose trust, or it's just something I'm not willing to take on as a man to have more relationships. And honestly, I feel bad for the motherfuckers trying to connect because I be on some bullshit. You know that. I'm straight out bullshit if I do not want you in my life. And I think that's one of those things where it almost closes us off and guards us up to where therapy is almost not an option to us.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the phrase of, or I guess the term, if you will? They say like finding a therapist is like dating.
Boom.
Like,
right there.
You have to like.
Let me cut you off. Men are wired to solve fucking problems.
That's all I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's just always how it's been, and like, and that's the thing, like, even if you find a therapist, which like, so I'm divorced and I'm required to go. And so like, you know what I mean? And so, but they say like, you may have to go to 5 different therapists, which is exhausting, especially like if it's even men or women, like you said, going to a therapist is like, Your walls got to come down. You're vulnerable. That's a hard thing to do in itself. And then what if this motherfucker don't even stick around? Like, what if this person is not even it? Now I got to do this shit 5 more times. So it's very discouraging, but it is a discovery in itself. You know what I mean? Which is a lot for any one person like to have to go through. And so people give up. And I think everybody has naturally.
I can agree with that because I went to a therapist during the start of my bullshit and started talking to the lady about it, and she started bringing up her own shit to me. And it almost, like, honestly, it invalidated every single feeling I had to where I stopped going and I had to figure it out myself.
More reserved from being like,
and
this ain't it.
I was just talking about it the other day, like my isolation. You know about it. You and Nieto know about it. You don't, of course, but like eventually you probably will be privy to it. I tend to isolate. And that's only after I have my kid. I don't care about nothing else. My kid, myself, and probably the 8 people I got around me is all I care about. And if you don't fall into that 8 category, I truly do not give a fuck. Like it won't. And I hate to blame that therapist. Mm-hmm. Maybe she'll see one day, maybe she'll change her shit. But if I come to you with a problem and your job is to I don't want to use the word problem solve, I shouldn't hear about yours. And as a man, that is very off-putting because of the society we live in that already puts off our emotions, our feelings, and our words. And that doesn't mean we're right in everything we do, but the help we do tend to reach out for, that I've at least reached out for in the last 6 years of my life, it's been nothing but negative.
So
and it could be me. Like, it truly could be me and my receptiveness to help. But there's a certain level of shit I should know, and there's a certain level of shit that you should talk about when it comes to therapy.
So with that, and this is a question for both of y'all.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, and the topic at hand, trusting a friend or foe, with knowing that, you can do therapy. When is the right time to do therapy? And when you do that, are you judging that individual that's asking you these questions? Because you don't know this person, but he or she is expecting you to speak on everything that's going on with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, where does that stand? Like, and I see what you're saying as far as
I think you should pull up Kim's comment first before we actually answer your question. Mm-hmm. Just due to the fact that some men don't feel that venting to another helps them emotionally feel better. I will be honest with you, and that kind of ties into that friend and foe shit that we started talking about, or that we have been talking about. But I don't confide in people I do not know. Like, I will confide 100% details to Nelson, his wife, Nieto, whoever the fuck it is that I truly trust. I will confide them. Mm-hmm. And as a man, to me, it feels better to talk to people, not someone that's designed and God.
So we got another topic. Victoria has said they may need to change therapists then. Talking is not enough. You have to find solutions. Solutions-focused therapy may be a good fit. It's my favorite approach.
I agree with you. Who's this one? Moana?
No, that's Victoria.
I agree with you because I've been to a couple. Like, I've been to a couple, and I've never had a positive outcome with them. Could be on me. Maybe I didn't get what I was seeking, or my expectations were set a little too high. But I do agree with her. Changing till you find that person that clicks and understands will help. Mm-hmm. And that's why, like, this shit that we got going on right now, this shit helps.
Yeah. Honestly, this is kind of like me personally. This is like my therapy.
Yeah. That's actually been proven. I think that they say that there's so many podcasts out because this is the closest thing to therapy that most people get. You know what I mean?
Why people listen to them on the way to work, or when they're sad, or they want to feel someone else's feeling. Yeah.
Because I don't want to go talk. I know that I talk to a shrink, but like I don't. I'd rather talk amongst friends about my issues that I do, because we have relatable issues, because we're honestly in that same category of age, of course, gender, of course, like the type of things we deal with on a daily basis. So that this is mine. This is mine.
Yeah.
See, when you
Now, would you like I guess wouldn't that make the job of a psychologist harder? Because their whole job is to be able to make their place be a safe place.
Yeah.
You know, and like to answer the question of like when is it time to probably see a therapist, I guess if you want something different. So like let's say if you've been living in this funk for a long fucking time and it's affecting your relationships, the relationship with your kids, and even you're having issues with your work and shit, and whatever you're doing, you keep doing it every day and it's not helping. And so wouldn't it be the time that's like, okay, I want something different, so I'm going to try this, even though if it doesn't work, you know. I know Nieto says like they always put you on drugs. I feel like it depends on who you go to. I think even also what Kim was saying, it's like I think you need to talk in order to feel better, and I think it's about like finding that right therapist that is willing to listen before putting you on drugs, unless it's some crazy shit. Like I'm dreaming about killing a motherfucker every night. Like, okay, I'm gonna put you on this. Actually, I got a few drugs to put you on. Like, you know, so but I think maybe the average person have so much hidden like trauma that comes first with facing it. And I think the best way to face it is maybe through a professional at times. Like they can help analyze, because some things we don't realize, like we know what happened, but we have to analyze it and accept that it happened and move past it. And I think we have that, like what they call is generational curses or generational things that happen, is that we were so adaptive to never ever talking, because a man doesn't, you're just supposed to just go with the flow. And that's how it was, you know, for a long time. So changing that is hard. Just like changing like the social norms and generations is like going to be like, what the fuck? Like, what's a TikTok? It's someone who was born in like, you know, the 40s or whatever, the 50s. It's like, what the fuck is that? They seen so much change, but you have to like almost accept that there is another side to this. So,
that is true. And we have another comment in the chat. Linda, she has said the stigma is the problem. Unless people normalize going to therapy, people won't go.
Yeah.
Men in general are raised to avoid showing and dealing with emotions. That is true.
Yeah. Wouldn't you say, like, again, I go back to what Kim said. I mean, I feel like even venting is a sense of freedom after it. You know what I mean? Because this doesn't hold you back. It's like if you finally like forgive somebody that did you wrong, and not maybe you don't hang out with this person, but you forgive what happened. And the fact that you don't have it storing in your mind, thinking about it. Like I've had so many times where I'd be doing something and I think about one thing that happened to me and I'm instantly angry. Like we're so emotionally.
You just snap.
And it fucks up your whole mood. Like it will ruin your whole damn day. But the fact that like maybe actually getting it off your plate and talking about it now, it's like it doesn't hinder you anymore. Like I will actually get a piece of my life back and not being pissed off. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I don't know. I agree. It's not a normal thing to go to therapy. You know?
Lyric also said in the comment, it's a common therapy tactic to talk about your own experiences to make the person receiving therapy feel like your friends. Right. And that is fucking true. And that's what she was bringing at. Like, they want to be relatable to you. Right. They want to bring you in so you can actually... Like men? No, just in the therapist. Like they want, easy to talk to. Don't tell me that. And it's so sad too. Like, and I mean, granted, there are a lot of good. I'm not bashing all of the psychiatrists out there. Mm-hmm. And Linda said, "Do we have a psychology degree?" No, we don't. But we can see what the fuck.
That's the topic,
You
because
know
what
what I
the
mean?
fuck do you learn getting a psychology?
Well, here's the thing, and they have to understand the podcast. The podcast is about us talking about our experiences and what our views are. So we're not saying that we're psychologists. Absolutely not. We're guys discussing a conversation about, therapy and psychology. We're just explaining our opinions. So that's basically it. We're not claiming anything.
Each other psychologists, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Share-
so there's that. This is just
shared
experiences.
shared experiences, just straight talking.
absolutely.
Like Linda, Moana, Lyric, we appreciate it, and it's helping us understand each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and like, we're also willing to learn too. So like, that's why we talk about the things we talk about. It's about bouncing ideas off each other and getting, again, different perspectives. It's about learning. So that's all that is. And it's just a little
100%,
insight,
because I would say, like, this has, although my wife would be like, no, it doesn't help, but it actually does help me.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And knowing that I have common, like you said before, or Ruff said before, common interests, and we all have the same issues. We all have different ways of navigating. So like bouncing ideas, like you had said, off of each other, it actually helps us build more than.
Dude, I can remember last year when I've hit you up. I'm like, yo, I'm going here, 0 service. If you need me, like, call me, whatever it is. Like, I remember those days. Like, I still have them here and there, and like, I'm more controllable about it. Like, them 0 service days were never meant to come back type shit. And I would always at least hit someone up to let them know. And maybe to me, it was like my way of doing it. But instead of reaching out to the therapist after I've been, I don't want to answer that. But I will.
We will.
I definitely do not want to answer that, but I will.
That's like the topic of all men. Do you know that? Like every man has a little bit of that. Not all of them, obviously, but
just the way a man deals with it, though, is kind of explains the man, because you can have a motherfucker that just be hitting shit.
I'm gonna hit you with the question though.
Ooh, I don't want to
before we go. Shit. My fault. How do you deal with anger when that's all you've seen growing up?
You might as well plug that motherfucker in right now.
Oh, they did.
Well, it's just me, everybody, and
cord disease.
How do you deal with
it? When it destroys enough shit around you. You know what I mean? When it starts destroying like your children and or like your relationships in general, your job, especially your kids. But like for me, like, and we're so like creatures of habit, and we adapt so well. So here's an example. Like, I'm divorced, and I was so adapted to my environment, which you guys are military guys, so you guys have all the stress. The job that I did, so I'm in the funeral business. I used to work for what is called a vault company, right? We work 6 to 7 days a week. The divorce rate for this job is very high. It's physically demanding, and the brotherhood was always like, you screwed up this way, or you fucked up this way. Like, everybody was always on your ass. And so for me, I would take that shit home. And it's like, if things aren't perfect, you're angry. Like, everything you did is like, you resort to that emotion is like being angry. So on top of us being naturally kind of like that based on like our childhood and being raised, now it's like a thing that like for me was like always around me, so like in order for me to really see that, it's like, okay, yeah, like my relationship went this way. I'm going through a divorce right now. So like I have to see a change, and that now I have to be a better parent because now I have to co-parent. You know what I mean? So like you have to have like a bit of a wake-up call to see like, okay, things are kind of like not going so great.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. As you can see, my battery had died, and thank you.
Nah, fuck it. We can continue on if the mic works. The
no, man. No, I appreciate it. Everybody that's in the legacy of ours, thank you so much. I appreciate the Oh wow,
What
we
do
have
you
another
think the
comment.
younger generation is like most? Let me cut you off.
Oh god,
Common
okay.
sense. Absolute common sense, because it is shitty as it is and it sounds, we do live in a world that works in a certain way, and that is driven by politics, money, and economics.
Mhm.
And if you can't get with it, you have to either find a way to fit in, or you're an outcast. And the younger generation, from what I see, sounds like they're trying to all make a name for themselves,
Mhm.
but some of them are taking it to the 100 and just dashing with it and just fucking going past it on shit that's not right. And yeah, some of them get money for it, some get paid for it, but I think the younger generation truly does lack common self or fuck common sense and self-respect for
Yeah.
each other and themselves. Because it's right now, it's literally all about making a name for yourself, whether it's social media, like, and wherever you live, like, it's all about making a name for yourself. And I really feel like a lot of that younger generation hangs on to the name that they would create themselves, when in reality, that shit don't matter at all. Like, it's all in your actions. And like, I hate to say it, but there, in today's world, it feels like there's a 50-50. Good, bad. Good holds a lot, bad holds a lot. And they both hold good and bad shit, depending on your views. But the younger generation only wants to, like, I don't blame them. They want to get money. They want to be famous. They want to make a name for themselves. And there's ways to do that. But some of these motherfuckers be going out on some wild ass shit, making a name for
Yeah,
themselves.
they lose respect for themselves. Look at Diddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this. Yeah, man. So look at this.
What?
I'm for real. All these celebrities coming in and they doing all this crazy shit, and some of them know, some of them don't, but they do it all for what? For money and fame and having a name for yourself. You lose your self-respect, and like you're right, they lose their independence, and that thing that goes back to like parenting and giving them like that self-respect that they have, and I think that's where it starts. I think that's really. I agree with you. So
I don't know. It's like a weird thing. I feel like the generation being raised now is not the generation being raised by the generation above them. It's almost that subculture of generation. And I hate to say it because I'm a parent during this shit, but I also want my kid to have these same values that I have now, that I had to take the hard way to learn, or
yeah.
kind of skate around to earn almost. And it's almost like they kind of get a pass based on just like notoriety, or the amount they're oh god, I got the hiccups. Sorry, the amount they're known based off. Like, if Nelson only got 1,000 followers and you got 11K, like, the youngins probably gonna want to follow you over him regardless what he's saying. And I think the level of influence nowadays depicts how we are displayed and given into effect. Oh, you just blacked out the whole screen.
You still on?
Am I?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just kind of how I feel about the younger generation. They're trying to make their way, and I don't blame them, because we all had to do it at one point.
Yeah, it's
But,
natural.
but what are they doing to make it different than the way we had to, or them evolve? Is it truly just them evolving from the ways we had and us being uncomfortable with it?
God damn.
Yeah.
Damn, none of us answered though. How do you deal with anger when it's all you seen growing up?
I kind of answered it a little bit. I said, like, if when your life starts really falling apart, like everything is like your anger controls everything you do. You know what I mean? And nowadays it's true. I've seen like 2 cases where like a road rage thing, it'd be something just like somebody whatever, and everybody pulled out a gun and people getting killed. You know what I mean? And it's like that's a moment that lives for what, like 10 minutes maybe, if that, and then like now you've changed someone's life, or they've changed your family's life because they shut the hell out of you and shit like that. Like everybody's like so aggressive. And like I said, you have to kind of see like how things are being destroyed. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Have we seen enough shit destroyed though to know how to build it back up? And is it maybe the receptiveness of that younger generation to honestly, fuck it. I believe that it is on us to teach them how to be a certain way, but it is still on them in the end of the day to accept it, comprehend it, and accept it. If
Mhm.
they don't do that, then it's almost like we can only preach, but we can't praise. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
We'll soon be like the victims to it all, because
Oh,
again, they got time on their hands and they got the future on their hands. So, like, eventually, we can do the best we can on instilling whatever we feel is right. But
Hey, as you can tell, we basically we hit topics on friends or foes, how to
we hit
deal with
everything
things.
on this topic. Respect.
I just wanted to come back in here and just end it off. I appreciate you guys listening to the legacy of ours, and it has truly been
Hold up.
a treat.
Hold up.
No,
Nah.
we're not doing that.
Kurt real
We're not
fast.
doing that. But I appreciate you guys following, subscribing, tuning in, and actually listening. Hopefully,
Yeah.
No,
what we
hold up.
bring to the
Read
table
that
can
last shit,
actually.
That shit low key hit me deep.
Yeah, well,
I think if we could hit one more topic.
that's the net. That's the
This is what we do. We save it.
Hey, Kurt,
Save that.
That's what
we gonna
we're
answer
here
that
for
shit
the
the next
people.
time
All right.
because
But-
that's all I think about.
But I appreciate it. Of course, you know the hosts, Drew, me, Nelson, and fucking goddamn
We back,
Ruff.
bro. We back, bro.
So
All we need is Seattle.
thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. It's been a blast, and I can't wait to do it again next Saturday.
Yeah.
Or wherever it may be. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the team itself. So
Yeah.
thank you for tuning in again.
Thank you for the comments. Who's the
Or-
who's the VIP for tonight?
I think it
Oh,
was
man,
Moana.
Moana.
man.
It's
She
Moana,
be
bro.
beefing with all four of
Yeah.
us.
I'm pre-ordering your tickets. Trust me, you get my money. All right.
All right. I appreciate it, homie.
See you
Thank you.
later.
Kurt, I'm gonna keep that shit in my mind until next Saturday
Yep,
because
that's the next topic.
that's all I'm caring about.
All right.
All right, hey,
We'll see
y'all
you.
go. Be easy, be safe, and tune in.